Analysis of strategic choice. Strategic choice involves evaluating alternative strategies and selecting the option that best enables the organization to achieve its objectives while managing risk. At this stage of the strategic planning process, management considers how the organization should compete, where it should invest resources, and how growth should be achieved. Possible strategies may include expansion into new markets, product diversification, acquisitions, or joint ventures. Strategic choices are influenced by internal resources, competencies, and external environmental factors. However, each option carries uncertainty and potential risks, such as incorrect market forecasts, changes in technology, or competitive actions. Therefore, organizations must critically analyze assumptions underlying each strategic option and evaluate potential consequences before implementation. Evaluating strategic choices requires analyzing the risks that could prevent a strategy from achieving its intended outcomes. These risks may arise from inaccurate forecasts, poor understanding of the competitive environment, or unrealistic assumptions about customer demand. Strategic decisions often rely on predictions about economic conditions, technological changes, and competitor behavior, all of which are uncertain. If these assumptions prove incorrect, even well-executed strategies may fail. Therefore, organizations should conduct comprehensive environmental and internal analysis to identify potential risks associated with each strategic option. By recognizing these risks early, management can design contingency plans, allocate resources more effectively, and improve the probability that the chosen strategy will deliver long-term success. Strategic choice must also consider the organization's ability to implement and sustain the chosen strategy effectively. A strategy may appear attractive theoretically but may fail in practice due to insufficient capabilities, inadequate resources, or operational constraints. For example, entering a new market may require new technology, skilled staff, or significant financial investment. If these requirements are underestimated, the organization may struggle to execute the strategy successfully. Strategic choice therefore involves balancing potential benefits against implementation risks and resource limitations. Effective analysis helps ensure that selected strategies align with organizational capabilities and risk appetite, reducing the likelihood of strategic failure. Scenario planning. Scenario planning is a strategic risk analysis technique that involves developing and analyzing different possible future environments in which the organization might operate. Rather than predicting a single future outcome, scenario planning considers multiple plausible scenarios based on key uncertainties such as economic conditions, technological developments, regulatory changes, or shifts in consumer behavior. By analyzing these alternative futures, organizations can evaluate how their strategies would perform under different conditions. This approach encourages managers to think more broadly about uncertainty and helps identify risks that might otherwise be overlooked. Scenario planning therefore supports better strategic decision-making by preparing organizations for a range of potential developments. The process of scenario planning involves structured analysis and collaboration among managers and experts. Key steps include identifying major environmental trends and uncertainties, analyzing stakeholder influences, defining the time horizon, and constructing a small number of realistic future scenarios. These scenarios are then used to evaluate strategic options and assess how the organization might respond to different developments. Scenario planning often involves multidisciplinary teams to ensure a wide range of perspectives and expertise. By encouraging dialogue and collaboration, this process helps organizations better understand uncertainties and develop flexible strategies capable of adapting to changing conditions. Scenario planning provides several strategic benefits but also has limitations. Its main advantage is that it encourages managers to focus on long-term uncertainty and consider fundamental changes in the business environment. It also stimulates creative thinking and improves communication within the organization by involving different stakeholders in strategic discussions. However, scenario planning can be costly and time-consuming, requiring substantial management effort and analytical resources. Additionally, there is a risk that managers may become overly attached to particular scenarios or assume they will occur, potentially creating biased decision-making. Despite these limitations, scenario planning remains a valuable tool for managing strategic uncertainty. Stress testing strategy. Stress testing is a technique used to evaluate how an organization's strategy or financial plans would perform under extreme but plausible adverse conditions. The method involves simulating scenarios such as economic recessions, significant declines in demand, interest rate increases, supply chain disruptions, or technological failures. By analyzing the potential impact of these events on sales, profits, cash flows, and operational performance, organizations can assess the resilience of their strategies. Stress testing helps identify weaknesses in strategic plans and allows management to develop contingency actions to mitigate risks before they occur. As a result, it enhances organizational preparedness and resilience in uncertain environments. One of the key advantages of stress testing is that it quantifies the potential financial and operational impact of adverse events. For example, organizations may model how a recession would affect sales volumes, profitability, and liquidity. This allows managers not only to identify possible problems but also to estimate the magnitude of the impact and determine whether sufficient financial resources are available to cope with the situation. Stress testing also helps organizations understand how strategic objectives may be affected by unexpected developments. By quantifying these effects, management can develop more realistic budgets, strengthen risk management processes, and improve strategic decision-making. Stress testing also improves organizational agility by encouraging proactive planning and early warning systems. By analyzing potential stress events before they occur, organizations can establish trigger points that signal when corrective action should be taken. For example, if sales growth falls below expected levels during the early part of the year, recruitment plans or investment projects may be delayed or adjusted. This proactive approach enables management to respond quickly to changing circumstances rather than reacting after problems have already occurred. Stress testing therefore supports more flexible and resilient strategies, helping organizations adapt effectively to both internal and external sources of risk.